Honestly, do I think this Braided Girl story is real? I'm not so sure. Something about it just doesn't add up. I'm Kim, and this is Hung Channel. Do you know the legend of the Braided Girl at CUHK? Tonight, we're walking the shadowed mountain paths, where countless students have reported eerie encounters. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why even the bravest feel a chill when the light falls, and why this tale has haunted generations. Stay with us if you dare. Chapter 1: The Origin of the Legend. Since its establishment, the campus of the Chinese University of Hong Kong has been a quiet and expansive environment, providing fertile ground for the growth of various legends. Especially after nightfall, the faint lamplight stretches the shadows of trees to unnerving lengths, while the open mountain paths echo with the whispers of the wind, punctuated occasionally by the low calls of nocturnal birds, tightening the nerves of those walking alone. Within the campus lies a narrow mountain path, commonly called Yet Till Ben or Braid Trail by students. In daylight, it is merely a shortcut connecting the dormitories with the main campus, but at night, this path becomes the focal point of urban legends. The story of the Braided Girl has been passed down for generations, initially without any written record, surviving only through oral account of older alumni. They would recount nights returning to their dorms, sometimes traversing this shadow-laden stretch, occasionally hearing strange sounds, and over time weaving these experiences into tales. As years went by, the legend grew more detailed and increasingly terrifying. People began speaking of a ghostly figure of a young woman dressed in an old-style student uniform, her long braid trailing behind her, who would wander the campus paths at night, head lowered, instilling a chilling fear. For contemporary students, Yet Tubin is no longer just an ordinary path, but has taken on a psychological weight, symbolizing the unknown, solitude, and the fear of walking at night. This collective anticipation makes individuals more likely to link sporadic events to the legend, gradually embedding it into the cultural memory of the campus. Chapter 2: Historical Background of the Incident. The earliest versions of the Braided Girl legend often trace its origins to a tragic accident many years ago. It is said that in mid-20th century Hong Kong, when border control was still relatively lax, numerous people attempted to enter illegally, including young women. According to legend, one such woman tried to stow away on a train to reach the vicinity of CUHK's Ma Liu Shui area. Tragically, during her attempt to jump from the train, her braid became caught in the door and her head was severely torn, resulting in immediate death. Because the incident occurred in a secluded location without timely rescue, her body was never properly recovered. And from then on, urban legends about the area began to circulate. This version attempts to provide a historical plausibility. Before Hong Kong's post-war economic boom, a large number of refugees and fortune seekers crossed into the city illegally, and trains were a common mode of transport. While there is no concrete written record of the accident, its possibility alone makes the legend vivid and convincing. The image of the girl who died unjustly, combining with the visual symbol of her long braid, allowed the tale to spread easily among people. Her long braid became a symbol of tragedy and fear, repeatedly appearing in subsequent retellings because it was her only distinctive feature in life. Chapter 3: Midnight Calling. The Braided Girl. Among the many legends of the Braided Girl, one story stands out as the most terrifying, recounted repeatedly by students. The protagonist is a freshman who, after staying late for self-study, walks alone along the braid trail. Ahead, he notices a female figure walking slowly with her head lowered. In the dim moonlight, her facial features are indistinct. All that is visible is a long braid swaying gently with each step. Curiosity mingled with fear prompts the student to muster the courage and speak in a light, teasing tone. "Classmate, can you turn around so I can see your face?" The words are barely out when the figure halts abruptly and slowly lifts her head to face the student. In that instant, time seems to freeze. What is called a face is not a normal set of features, but an unrecognizable surface, entirely covered by the braid front and back. This abnormal vision and the psychological shock leave the student speechless, chest tight, body chilled, and he bolts back to his dorm in a panicked sprint. Months later, the student still struggles to calm himself when recounting the encounter in social settings, experiencing insomnia and lingering unease. Stories of similar encounters with the Braided Girl began to spread widely across the campus. Chapter 4: Stranger Images in the Camera. Urban legends often come up with photographic or video evidence to enhance the credibility. In another widely circulated story, a photography student, often walking alone along the campus paths late at night for academic assignments, returns to his dorm after a night shoot to review his photos. To his horror, among the images are several he is certain he did not capture. The timestamps correspond exactly to his walk along the braid trail, and the content is deeply unsettling. One photo shows a blurry braid-like shadow, as if existing beyond reality. Another seems to depict a figure staring directly at the lens, its face entirely obscured by a braid. Initially thinking it was a memory card malfunction or accidental shutter press, he deletes the photos and reorganizes his files, only to find them mysteriously restored the next day, with the same file names and timestamps untouched. Unable to explain these phenomena, he begins to suspect that these are not ordinary data errors, but traces, left by an existence hovering between reality and the unknown. Word of this event spread quickly among photography students, turning late-night solo walks into a taboo. Many take caution, warning juniors to avoid wandering alone after dark. Chapter 5: A Professor's Midnight Encounter. The legend is not limited to students. A well-respected engineering professor once shared his own encounter with students. One night, while driving along the campus mountain road back to his dorm, he suddenly notices a female figure slowly moving in the middle of the path ahead. Dim lighting leads him to assume it was a student walking home, and out of concern, he slows down to inquire. When he stops and rolls down his window, the figure continues her slow walk, head bowed, with a long braid draped over her shoulders, silent and motionless. As the professor prepares to speak, the figure halts and slowly lifts her head, her face again unrecognizable, hidden entirely behind the braid. The stillness of her posture sends a shock through him. Overcome by an inexplicable fear, he instinctively hits the accelerator and speeds away. In the following days, he experiences unusual physical discomfort, constant tension, even an unprecedented fever and exhaustion. Attempting to recount the experience to colleagues, he speaks with frustration and bewilderment, caught between his rationality and the undeniable reality of what he witnessed. It is precisely this conflict between reason and fear that lends the legend its eerie atmosphere. Chapter 6. Conclusion: Reality, Fear, and the Psychological Meaning of Urban Legends. The story of the Braided Girl has persisted at CUHK for decades, underpinned by deep psychological and cultural factors. On one hand, campus life itself is filled with pressure, and walking alone along isolated mountain paths at night naturally heightens fear. On the other, the repeated communal retelling amplifies and reshapes the terror, embedding it into collective memory. These urban legends are not merely projections of unknown fears. They also serve as a means for young people to establish identity and unique experiences within campus life. While the events described cannot be confirmed as factual, the structures of fear and psychological effects they evoke are very real. The image of the Braided Girl is both symbolic and culturally recognized, existing within conversation, imaginative fear, and campus culture. Such seemingly supernatural experiences reflect deeper psychological mechanisms and human reactions to the unknown. Therefore, the next time you walk along CUHK's mountain paths at night, remind yourself that fear does not always come from real specters, but from the mind's expectations and speculations. Yet, if in the darkness you glimpse a figure with her head bowed, moving slowly, long braid trailing behind, perhaps what you see is not a ghost at all, but your own projection of fear. I'm Kim. Please subscribe, like, and share. And stay with me. You have never faced the dark unknown.